Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Team Believe and Succeed weekly update call. This is Ann Brown on the line all the way from Accokeek, Maryland. And I'm going to get us started like we always do with our kudos, shout outs, and high fives. If you have any kudos, shout outs, and high fives for anyone, including yourself, this is the time to give that recognition. Any kudos, shout outs, and high fives out there?
Hello, good evening. I'm gonna
Oh
give
Lord.
kudos and shout outs to both Miss Thelma and to Miss Alicia for their posting, their
Uh,
post
All right. Oh, there you go.
posting their flyers and everything and just getting out there promoting. Great job.
Right.
Awesome, awesome. Yes, yes, yes. Miss Rose and Miss Thelma. Miss Thelma, I've been seeing your posts. You've been posting consistently, and I mean that's amazing. And the fact that y'all are having a travel party, a grand opening this weekend is amazing as well. And you're inviting for that. So I definitely want to mirror that sentiment because you're absolutely out there and you're doing the right thing. So congratulations, kudos, shout outs, and high fives to you.
Thank
Anybody
you.
else
But
have
I
any?
want to give the kudos to you in the King. You're all doing excellent jobs. Excellent.
Oh, thank you, thank you,
Everyone, but
thank you.
you and him, y'all are doing it.
Oh, well, thank you, thank you, thank you. But we got to do more of it, and we pulling out of this slump, and we're gonna go ahead and do even more. So congratulations. So thank you so much. Thank you for the kudos. Anybody else have any kudos, shout outs, and high fives? Anybody else? Well, I want to give kudos, shout outs, and high fives to Antoinette for being the leader that she is. She is definitely leading Recognize and showing her the ropes and sitting down with her and doing test drive and answering her questions and going through the documents and all of that stuff and making sure she feels comfortable in doing her business. And so I just want to thank her, thank Antoinette, and also give her kudos, shout outs, and high fives and that recognition because she's really stepping into leadership. And that is so incredibly important. And I want to thank Miss Recognize because she said she was going to have a grand opening. And guess what? She is putting it together now that she's moved, now that she's in a place where she can plan. And so I want to give her kudos, shout outs, and high fives as well for having her grand opening and definitely going on and putting at least 3 on the books. So definitely want to give her kudos, shout outs, and high fives as well. One of our newest team members, because we all know that is really the way you grow your business. That is the way you grow your business. You can invite people on Zoom, but there's something about sitting in your house or watching the presentation that actually makes a difference. So you want to have those grand openings. Awesome. Did anybody else have any kudos, shout outs, and high five? Well, I want to give Michelle McDaniel again kudos, shout outs, and high fives because she and the DMV team have been holding down the weekly meetings. Michelle, I understand you won't be there tomorrow with Ambassador Jeannie Sharpless, but I understand that you've been doing a great job just holding it down and keeping everything going with our absence. So thank you so much for that and want to thank everybody for just praying and for your support and everything that you've done as I recover. So with that being said, if there are no more kudos, shout outs, and high fives, we're going to go on and move towards announcements. Nick Brown, did you have any announcements tonight?
Absolutely. Ambassador Gene Sharpless will be in the DMV on tomorrow. So if you are able to get here, please do so. If not, please invite the guests that you do have here in the DMV. And of course, everyone needs to be, if you're going to convention in August in Puerto Rico, you need to go in your back office and register. And then one of two things you need to do is get your plane ticket so that you don't incur any of the fuel prices continuing going up, and then secure your hotel. And excuse me. Um, that's it. That's all I have.
All right. Well, you were saying convention is in August 6th through the 8th.
August 6th through the 8th in Puerto Rico. So the link is in your back office to register, and then you should go and get your hotel room. There's no blocker rooms like we did for where was the last convention? No
And
blocker rooms like
Cancun.
we, huh?
For
Cancun
Cancun.
Cancun?
No, Cancun was
with search. Oh, we would where were we?
we went St. Louis, weren't
St. Louis, yes.
we? Yeah.
Yeah, St.
Oh,
Louis.
Yeah.
All right. But like we did in Cancun when we had the block of rooms that we could pay on it, that's not going to be the case for this. So you have to get that on your own, and we recommend that you go through price agencies because you can go ahead and book it now and then pay for it sometime in July, which gives you opportunity to save up your money if you are unable to pay it right now. So that's it.
All right, all right. Well, thank you so much, Nick Brown. Well, ladies and gentlemen, like I've already said before, yes, convention, convention, convention. Everywhere running to convention, and we've got to get on point, ladies and gentlemen. This is like the 6th day or 7th day of May, and we've got to definitely run to convention. You know, running to convention is all about production, and you want to make sure that you are producing so that you're on stage at convention. So there are going to be all kinds of awards. There are going to be all kinds of recognition, and you want to make sure that you're the person who is recognized. So you want to definitely be telling everybody, lottie dottie, everybody about your business. And one of the things you want to be doing is having travel parties. So we have some brand new people on the line tonight, and we have some seasoned executives on the line tonight. And so I would like to, before we go into our training today, which is about travel parties. So I want you to get pen and paper because there's some of us that have done countless, the countless number of travel parties. And so we know how to do it by the back of our hand, like the back of our hands. But there are some people, and surprisingly, that don't know how to do a travel party. And so I didn't realize that we had that situation. So I want to talk about travel parties, but first and foremost, I'd like to introduce to some and present to others Miss Michelle McDaniel, who actually hosted a travel party a couple of months ago, and it was absolutely amazing. Now she outdid herself, but it was a really, really great event. And so, Michelle, can you briefly explain how did you host that travel party, and how did you get your guests there? How far in advance did you plan, and what was your theme, and what was your thought process for that travel party?
yes. Good evening, everyone. So really, I didn't have a theme for it. It was around just before Thanksgiving, so I figured that probably be a good time to bring people together. I started planning it actually. I was actually kind of late planning, but I did it 2 months in advance. Started putting my guest list together, inviting people who had previously shown an interest, uh, previous previous clients that had traveled with me, and then family and friends. And you don't have to have I did, because it was around the holidays, I did do a big spread. But what I also did was I sent out the invitations, and then a week before the event, I called to confirm people. And 2 days prior to the event, I called to confirm people as well, to just find out, because I did have it at a in a hotel room. So I just wanted to make sure people were coming, and I did have it catered as well because of the holidays. But you can normally just have like chips, something to drink, some cake or something like that, and call it a day.
Believe me, I've gone to I've gone to the travel party that was very, very nice for Thanksgiving. And I've also gone to Michelle's home, which is very nice, where she just had chips, punch, and some cake or some cookies. And it was very, very nice. And so that was one of her travel parties that she did. But that's not really you don't have to get a caterer. You don't have to, plan a couple months in advance, and you definitely don't have to get a hotel room or a time use your points. So you can definitely do a travel party relatively simple. And we have another leader on the line, Vincent Payton, the travel king. Vincent, could you actually put on your video and share with our listening audience just in terms of how you've done travel parties?
What's going on, everybody? Travel parties. I've done quite a bit. I think I would easily done over 10 easily. Um, Travel parties are really pretty simple. Similar to what Michelle just talked about, just inviting, inviting, inviting. Over inviting is probably the key. Things are going to come up. People going to show up late. They're going to say they're going to come and still don't show. But if you over invite, you always going to have someone in the building where you don't feel like you're spinning your wheels or wasting anybody's time. So I think the first part is about inviting. Let everybody know the time frame. If it's going to be from 11 to 12:30, stick to it, stress it, but also as Michelle said, you want to remind people as well as show some urgency in terms of saying things like, oh yeah, I have a guest speaker coming. They're so excited to meet you. Thank you so much for RSVPing. I secured, drinks, food, secured the location. So there is some type of level of ownership on the people that's attending. Once you go through the invite process, I think the next thing is making sure that you have some way to be able to present the presentation. If it's through your TV, through a monitor, a projection, um, anything. It got to be some kind of way. Sometimes you can just talk through it. That is also effective sometimes as well. But you want to make sure you have something to be able to provide the people the information. And then last but not least, I don't cook. Um, I'm a uh, I'm a beginner cooker, so there's not going to be no. I'm not getting no flour and seasoning the flour and all that fancy stuff. So I'm a Costco kind of guy. So I go to Costco get some cookies. I go to what's that? Not Krispy Kreme. What's the other one? Dunkin'
Dunkin'
Donuts.
Donuts
Oh yeah, I get those donuts from there.
or
And
Safeway. Safeway.
Safeway actually has some good donuts. Don't sleep
Safeway.
on
Safeway
Safeway's donuts now. You gotta get them fresh. After one day, it's done. So, nevertheless, you definitely want to make sure that you want to have something, and it might be, chips, dip, salsa, something small. Don't buy the big plates, buy the small plates. That way, people don't get greedy. Get some water, whatever's left over, do it for the next month. One thing that I did learn when I was doing those travel parties, especially from March into the summer, if you plan on doing them once or twice a week, just buy the big plates, buy the cups that you're gonna need. Whatever's left over, you pack it back up. You can use it next month. Now, we're not gonna give out 2 months old donuts, but the silverware, the cups, and all those types of things, you spend the money one time, and you definitely can get 50 forks, and you don't have to use all of them at one time. So you can kind of save on some money from that standpoint. But keep it simple. Keep it to the timetable. If they choose to stay longer, they do. Make sure that you are making all of your guests feel welcome and making sure that they are able to meet the other agents in the room or the presenter to make sure that they have opportunity to get their questions answered. I've learned that sometimes your relationship with your guests, sometimes they don't like to ask the questions to you, but they will ask those same questions to others. So you want to make sure that they feel like it's an open dialogue with other people in the room. And doing that up front to make everybody feel comfortable. I always had the celebrity Ann Brown do a lot of my presentations. So, she talks to everybody. So, it was really easy for that. But those are some of the things that I can remember from the travel parties and thinking about doing something myself sometime soon as well, doing hosting one for the team. So I say, hey, I say this as well. I said this before, I think. The other thing is this: the biggest growth that I've ever seen in my business or my team or whatever way you look at it was 100% travel parties. I can't, I'll tell you, when I joined this business, I was doing them and easily got that. Back then it was 6 people, you get $1,000 bonus. Did that in the first 60 days maybe, but continued to move up the ranks, even to the regional builder, was 100% from travel parties. The other part about travel parties I think is very successful is that it takes the it makes it a little bit more personable versus sometimes being in a big event. And back then we were doing things at the Greenbelt Marriott. It was a big auditorium. You really didn't have that feeling, but the travel parties, people did definitely, get on board real quick. And especially if you got people that's going to join there, people see other people joining, they be like, all right, I'm gonna do it too and get it over with. So that's my tidbit. Sorry I took so long, but that's how I do sometimes.
No,
Hey,
that's
donuts from
awesome.
Safeway though.
No, that's real talk.
There you go. There you go. So y'all, I wanted you to hear and someone who did an elaborate travel party and then someone who could, because we've done both, someone who just did a simple travel party. Now, what is a travel party? First and foremost, to start out, I think our first travel party, we did have a den full of people. But there have been some times when we've done a travel party and one person showed up. And if we confirmed that that one person was going to be there, then we did that travel party as if there were a whole den full of people. And so it doesn't matter, but you want to invite, invite, and invite. Now, let's say that you just have a dining room table that seats four. Well, you just made sure you got four people at your dining room table. And again, if you want it to be chips and dip and something salty, something sweet, something wet, that's it. Not a big old smorgasbord, not all of that. It's if you've ever gone to a timeshare presentation, at a timeshare presentation, they might give you a cookie. They're gonna give you some coffee, they're gonna give you some water. And you might get a cookie or a donut or something, but basically no. And at a timeshare presentation, they expect you to spend thousands of dollars, to commit years of your life to spend thousands of dollars. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you just showing a presentation where you asking people to contribute $500, to invest $500 in themselves to have a business where they can earn thousands, make thousands and millions of dollars. So don't feel like you got to have this huge smorgasbord and people gonna come because you cook, because that's what they'll do. They'll come because you're cooking. But remember that this is a business and this is your money maker. And also remember that whoever joins your team at your travel party is going to think that that's what they're going to have to do. One of the things that was very, very effective about Vince's travel party, and he got other people to have travel party because people who were on his team said, "Oh, I can have a travel party." Everybody who left there thought, "Shoot, okay, I can have a travel party." Because it was easy to do. It was duplicatable. They were like, "Oh, Vince has some punch and some donuts and some chips. Oh yeah, I can have a travel party." But one of the keys too to your travel party, let me give you a very important key. For people that you really want to be there, ask them to bring something. Ask them, "Hey, can you bring some ice? I think I'm gonna run out of ice. Can you bring a small bag of ice?" And they were like, "Okay," and make it just say, "Oh, girl, I am not gonna have time to do this. Can you please make sure you get here on time because I really need the ice." Or hey, can you pick up a bag of chips for me? I forgot to get the chips. Or can you pick up a bag? Can you pick up some cookies? I didn't get it. I didn't get anything sweet. Or, can you get a bottle of iced tea or a bottle of punch or whatever? Can you bring that? Because I didn't get that. And when you do that, they're feeling like, "Oh my gosh, I gotta come. Let me go ahead and get together and be on time because now I need to help her out and bring something or help them out and bring something." So that's a way that you can make sure that your guests get there and they get there on time. And so you want to make sure, first and foremost, let's go through the steps. First, you want to definitely get your list. Get the list of the people that you're going to invite to your travel party, to your grand opening. And then you want to do your theme. If your theme could be grand opening, because if it's your first 3 to 5, it's your grand opening for your business. Then after that, Nick and I, we've had Chinese food night where maybe we serve fried rice and some Chinese food, or some beef and broccoli or something. Then we've actually had Italian night where maybe we would serve
Spaghetti,
lasagna and salad.
spaghetti, French bread.
And we've even had it where we did pizza night, where we just did pizza, a pizza travel party, where we just had
Jamaican,
pizza. We've done Jamaican.
Hawaiian.
We have done Hawaiian as well. So we've done so many different things. We've done, Easter. We've done Christmas. So whatever theme you want, you can put that on there. But no matter what, the process is basically the same. So you definitely go ahead and write out your list. And you want to have at least 100 people on your list. And then you want to schedule your date, and you want to have at least 3 dates available. Why? Because everybody is not going to be able to make that one date. They're going to have something else to do. They got the other plans. But if you already have another date, you can say, oh, okay, well, you can't make it on Saturday. Well, why don't you? Well, I'm having another one on this particular date. Can you make that? Oh, you can't make that one? Well, I'm having another one on this particular date. Can you make that one? And 9 times out of 10, they will commit to one of those dates. But when you have one date and they say, oh, I can't make it, then they think, oh, well, I can't make it. But if you're saying, okay, you can't make this date. What about this date? What about this date? What about this date? And I'm telling you, if you really want to get jiggy with it, have 5 dates, because nobody's going to tell you no 5 times. Nobody. So they will commit to coming to one of those travel parties. So if you say, okay, well, you can't make it on this date, I'm going to have one on this date. I'm going to have one on this particular date. Can you make it on this date? Or what about this date? Nobody's going to tell you no 5 times. They're going to commit to one of those dates. So if you have those dates already, and you already have already planned in advance, guess what? Now you can do like Vincent Payton. You can say, okay, let me go to Costco and just get a big bulk of those little small plates. So let me go ahead and go ahead and get some cups. Go ahead and get my napkins and all that stuff. I get my supplies. Let me go ahead and do that. And now you got that in the closet and you're ready. And so that's one last thing you have to do. Now, all you have to do is go get chips or some chicken salad or whatever you're going to serve and go from there. However, now you're basically travel party ready. So now what do you do when you actually have that travel party? Now you want to invite people, but as you heard Michelle and Vince say, you want to confirm people because they forget. So if you invited them last week, you want to confirm, text them or call them and say, hey, I'm just calling to remind you that you're going to come to my grand opening on Saturday at 1:00. I'm just calling to remind you. And then the day before, you want to call and remind them again. Okay, I'm just calling to confirm that you're going to be here tomorrow at 1:00 because I'm making refreshments and I want to make sure I make enough for you. And so at that time, they either going to tell you they're coming or not. Something came up. And then at that time, you can always roll them in. Oh, you're not going to be able to make it? Okay, well, what about this particular date? Or what about this particular date? I'm having some more because this is my business. So which one of these dates works best for you? And that way they realize that you're not giving up, that you're going to keep inviting them until they show up. And so you want to definitely, at that point, go ahead and try to get them into another date, committed to another date. Now, after you do that, and you know what, that day before, you also want to do a 3-way call. three-way call. And if you were to do a three-way call with me, I said, oh my gosh, I'm looking forward to meeting you at Miss Thelma's grand opening on Saturday. It is going to be off the chain. And she has told me so much about you. Let me tell you, you want to make sure that you're there on time. You don't want to miss a thing. In fact, I think they might have a prize for everybody who gets there on time. So you don't want to miss it. And guess what? You also want to make sure that you have pen and paper so you can take copious notes, because we're going to be giving some information that is going to blow you away. And so I am Ann Brown, and I'm not able to be in Louisiana, but I am going to be online on video, and I'm going to be there to actually, I'm going to be looking for you. I'm going to be looking for your face in the place. So I can't wait to meet you. And I'm looking forward to just having a great time. And so they're thinking, oh, this is bigger. This is much bigger than just them. Now they've got their director come piping in from Washington, D.C. Oh my goodness. And if you ask other executives to tie in. Now they're seeing people just tie in from all over. Now your travel party is here. They're like, oh my gosh, they had somebody come in from South Carolina. Oh, they had somebody come in from North Carolina. And now they're seeing people chiming in from all over the place to support your travel party. And so they're there sitting in your living room and watching all of this and just are blown away. But that is how you prepare. You prepare to have that kind of response. Now, when they're there, you want to make sure that they're seated, that they get pen and paper, that they are ready to see the presentation. You want to make sure that if you can set up your room so their backs are to the door. That means if somebody comes in late, they don't see them because their backs are to the door. You want to make sure they are facing the screen, facing the presentation. You want to eliminate all distractions. If you have pets, if you have small children or anything that would be distracting, you want to get rid of that. And definitely make sure that your stage is set. You want to start on time. You want to start on time. I don't care, even if nobody's there, play a video and start on time. Because if someone calls and says that they're on their way, when they walk in, you should be playing a video. And you should sit them down and just say, okay, well, I just kind of got started. We've got some people online, so you're a little late, but I just want to usher you in. Please, we just got started and we're just watching this introductory video. And so, number one, that shows that you're professional. That shows that you start on time, and that shows that you weren't waiting for them. You were not waiting for them. So you never let the guests feel like they're more important than your business. Never. You're not in a posture where you're begging. You've got the goal and you're helping them. So you always want to say, okay, well, you're a little late, but here's your seat. And that's another thing. If you got 10 guests coming, don't put out 10 seats. Don't change your space at all. You want them to sit down in your living room the way that they are. Now, you can have some folding chairs in the closet, and you can bring them out one at a time as you need them, but you don't need them to come in there and they see 10 seats. And what if your 9 guests cancel? Now, they're the only ones sitting there, and they're like, okay, what happened to everybody else? So, don't do that. So if that's them, if they're the only one that come, they're your guests. That's it. That's your travel party. And so you make sure you keep going through the process, whether you have 1 guest or you have 10 guests, it doesn't matter. You want to keep going through the process. Now, you want to start out by welcoming your guests and telling your story. You need to tell your story. I got started in this because I needed to save on my taxes. That's what me and Nick said, because that was true. I got started on this because I want to generate some extra income in retirement. I got started in this because I'm ready to travel the world. I got started in this because I wanted to pay off my niece's tuition. I got started on this because my daughter is sick and I want to help her pay off her hospital bills. But you need to tell your story. These are your guests, and they came because of you. They didn't come because of Ann. They didn't come because of anybody else. They came because of you. So you need to share your story, and you need to be honest with them. And then you want to introduce the speaker. This is Ann Brown. She loves to have fun. She knows the facts. She definitely she's created success in this business, and she loves to help people. Those are the 4 things you need to say: fun, facts, help, and success. And so you give that introduction, give it to me. We're going to do the presentation. Nick is going to close it out. And then afterwards, we're going to ask those closing questions. What did you like best about what you saw and heard? And we're not moving from your guests until they answer that question. What did you like best about what you saw and heard? That's it. Why do we ask that question? Because that's a closing question. Once we know what they like best. And then where do you see yourself getting started? Or when do you see yourself getting started? How do you see this benefiting you? We're going to ask a question like that. Why? Because we want to see if they see how it's going to benefit them, how they can incorporate our business into their lives. And then when do you see yourselves getting started? Like business person said last night, tomorrow. Or they may say, well, I probably can't start until next week, and we're going to get with them. But get this, after that, we're going to say, okay, we're going to get with you and have a conversation. Thank you. And guess what? And we're not going to thank them for coming. We're going to thank the executives in the line, all of our executives. Thank you for supporting. And with our guests, we're going to make sure that we get your questions answered, because you never make the guests feel more important than you. You never you don't thank them for coming. You've got the goal. So you've got to have that attitude. And so you just say, well, we really appreciate, we hope you gave you some information that you can use and keep going from there. So then after that, now starts the party after the party. Because you want the people who are not interested to leave. You want the people who are not interested to leave, and you want them to leave quickly. You give them their little plate. Oh, okay, here, take that. Oh, you got to go. Here you go. Have it already fixed. Go ahead. Here you go, and get that bad energy out of. You don't want nobody that's like, oh no, I can't do nothing like this. Oh no, I had something like all the negative energy. Get that out the room fast. Just say, okay, here you go. Here's your little gift and stuff. And you have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Boom. Get them out the room. Get the negative energy out the room. Now what's left is the people who actually have questions. And those are the people that you want to focus on. You want to get their questions answered. You want to do 3-way calls with the executives. You want to make sure that they are feeling comfortable and they feel like they can talk, and they can kind of really express their concerns. That's where the closing happens. That's where the magic happens. So you want to make sure, number one, get the negative energy out the room, and make sure you're sitting down with those people who are genuinely interested, who see themselves getting started, and get them on the line with someone, or get them making sure they introduce them to. Now, is it always Nick and Ann? Maybe you know someone who works in the healthcare industry. Well, perhaps you might want to invite Antoinette to be an executive at your grand opening, so she can give her testimony and talk to the person that's in the healthcare industry. Maybe you know someone who loves to travel. Well, perhaps you might want to ask Vincent if he can pop into your travel party so that he can give his testimony and talk to the person who loves to put together trips and that kind of stuff. Maybe you know somebody who wants to go to Africa. Well, you may want to ask Michelle McDaniel, hey, can you pop in on my travel party? Because I have a young lady, Miss Johnson, that really would love to go to Africa, and I'd love for her to be able to meet you. So maybe you might want to have a plethora of people for your guests, because you want to have somebody there that your guests will relate to. Maybe one of your guests is really young. Well, you might want to have Amari pop into your grand opening for one of your young guests so he can actually talk about his experience, because sometimes younger people get intimidated when they come into a room with a whole bunch of older people. So to have a younger person in saying that, oh, I did this, is absolutely amazing. And maybe you might want to shut up. Maybe they've heard so much from you, it might be your time to introduce them to somebody else and shut up. Just be quiet. Let them talk to somebody else. Because like Vince said, sometimes they will ask a question that they didn't feel comfortable asking you, and you might learn something. You might say, oh, I didn't even know that was an issue. So at the meeting, after the meeting, the conversation after the meeting is the juicy part. That's when you really get the information. That's when you actually have that application and you give it to them and let them look at that application and start filling it out. That's when you actually get that application and let us walk them through that application. And at the end, when they put their credit card information on that application and they tell you, okay, process this tomorrow, or process that, or you can go on and process this. Well, we want to welcome them, and we're going to go ahead and get them in the system. So we're not going to call them tomorrow. They already told you that you could process it tomorrow. You're going to process it tomorrow. And so that's just one of the things you want to make sure you do. You got those applications. And now another thing you can have is a survey, taking surveys from people. If that's what you want, that gives you some more information that you can use. Maybe you might want to play a game at your grand opening. You can, there's several different games that you can play if you have a couple of people. But that is basically it, your grand opening. And then two, what we're going to do is we're going to showcase, you want to give everybody your vortex. You want to have it printed out so that you can give when they walk away, you walking away with customers. Now, like Miss Thelma and Miss Rose, y'all doing it together. So y'all could really sign people up on your vortex if you kind of knew how to do that. Or Miss Thelma, if your nephew could come, sign people up on your vortex. So at your travel party, you automatically in with customers. You're getting customers. So you want to make sure you're getting customers and or partners. And so that's what it's all about. Your travel parties are your business. We want to do a test drive where we're actually showing people your sites and what you can do, and showing them what they get and how they can actually build this business. So those are some points for having a successful travel party and grand opening. And hopefully I've given you some information. Now, all of these instructions are in our Facebook group page on the file cabinet under travel parties. So if you go and you just look at those instructions, we actually lay out everything that you should be doing. And so if you follow those instructions, you will have a successful grand opening. Now, there used to be a time for people that are right here in our area. Of course, we come to your grand opening. For those that are a little farther away, then you may have us on Zoom, but you have people in your living room, so that we can see them, they can see us, and we are actually doing the grand opening. But they're watching the grand opening. We're doing it for you, but they're still having the experience. They're able to ask us questions, and you're there, and it's a live experience. So make sure that you are hosting your grand opening. And if it's one person, that's a great grand opening. If it's 10 people, that's a great grand opening. No matter what, invite, 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 because the more you introduce your business to, the better your results. That's basically my training for today. And hopefully I answered some of the questions and cleared up some confusion. But I want to give you an opportunity to ask questions, because our leadership has said we have to have more grand openings. And I'm proud to say Nick and I, we're getting our basement done so that we can have more grand openings. That is going to be our grand openings central. It used to be our living room, dining room area, but we're having our basement done so that we can actually begin to do grand openings in our basement. And so we're finishing, hopefully that will be finished in the next couple of weeks, and we can invite everybody over for our grand opening. However, until then, we really want everybody to do grand openings. And I know they say, well, if you want people to do it, you should do it first. The only reason we're not doing it right now is because we have the weekly meeting and we are getting our basement done. But I plan on trying to do a grand opening, maybe in a restaurant in the area. I gotta recover from surgery. However, that doesn't mean that you can't do a grand opening. Michelle Thomas, you had a grand opening recently, and you had one of your guests come. Would you like to share how how you planned your grand opening?
Well, yes, I did. I mean, I planned it, and I sent out the my flyer indicating that I had it, that I was having it, and I sent it out, and I got, very minimum replies, but I did got a confirmation from this person, and she did come. But the thing was, I mean, she was the only one who was coming, and she graciously said, "Well, I'm running late because she's an event planner. She was planning for an event, so she kind of got held up a little bit. So she was late. She was more than 30 minutes late, but because she was the only one, I didn't sweat it too much. And, I welcomed it, and I was getting to know her because I just met her. So it was more like a one-on-one because it was just her. So we sat down and we had a conversation first. I had bought some subs, so we had a sandwich and we chatted a while. So it was very informal, but we got to know each other first a little bit. I learned more about her, and then I did the overview. So and it left her with wanting more information. She was very impressed with the overview. So I'm still dripping on her, and she'll be coming out to see something else after that. So it went well, I thought. But I'll be doing it again. I mean, I've had it in the past where I've had 5 people. I've had 7 people who come over. I invite neighbors and friends. So it's just frequency by which you do it, um, which will dictate, how successful it is. But don't be discouraged. Just keep inviting and be excited about it. And hey, here you go. I met some new people, so I will be doing it again and inviting more people, inviting some more people. So we'll see.
All right, all right, all right. Well, there you have it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, do we have any issues, questions, comments, or concerns? Click the link below. Who's going to have their travel party?
Yes, I got a question.
Go ahead, Miss Rose.
Oh, I didn't hear you say anything about a music, but should I have music at the travel party?
That's up to you. If you know how to like cut the music on, cut the music off, that's up to you. Sometimes we have music in the background playing, but that's just another thing that you got to remember. That's just another thing that you're going to have to manage. Now, luckily, Nick generally manages the music for me. And so I just say, okay, it's time to cut it off. And, he cuts it off. If it were me, I might have a little bit of music playing at first, but once I cut it off, it's cutting. I'm not going to be going back, and I'm not a DJ. I am not. If you want to just put the music on as people are coming in, that's always good. But it's totally up to you and your comfort level. I've seen some people do music. I've seen some people do a game. I've seen some people not have anything at all, and people just come in and just kind of talk and have, get to know each other. So it's totally up to you and what you're comfortable with.
Okay, thank you. And the way my house is set up, the TV, the large screen TV is in the den. So I was planning on using my living room instead of the den, but since the den is, the TV is in the den, so I should load them up or start putting them in the den. And so their face would be to the den, not the front door. So people, if they come late, they won't be, distracted by the late comers.
That's what I suggest. If you can have your travel party in the den and everybody's focusing on the TV and the presentation, because whenever even it just happens. If you watching something and somebody comes in, you automatically look over there and see who's coming, and at that point you're missing whatever's in the presentation. So sometimes it's best to, if you can, to situate it so that they're not facing the door.
Yeah, I was thinking about security. All these people I don't know, I just been invited. So I have to worry about security, strange people coming in my house.
I say this, Miss Thelma, you got to be comfortable about the people you invite in your house.
Mhm.
Everybody don't come to 145 Street. If you got to vet them first before you invite them to your house.
And if that's the case, if you just inviting random people, I probably wouldn't have it in your home. I would have it like at McDonald's or at Starbucks or at maybe even at the church or something like that. If you're just inviting random people, because the last thing you want is for somebody to come and check you out and rob you. That's the worst case scenario. But let's be sensible. You don't want just anybody coming to your house if you don't know them.
That's true.
Okay, so don't put yourself in harm's danger, in harm's way, and having people in your house. You live there. You definitely, so you got to use your own judgment. You got it. Now, if this is somebody that you know, or maybe they were referred by somebody, you may not know them, but you know who they were referred by or something like that, then that's fine. But if this is somebody that you just gave a flyer to on the street and just said, hey, come to my house to my grand opening, I wouldn't do that. I'd probably make it a McDonald's or a Starbucks or something like that. Meet them at Starbucks, or maybe even a pizza place. Buy a pizza, everybody share a pizza, and call it a day. And you can do the same thing. Bring your laptop. If they have the internet, I can do the presentation and we can have a great time. Everybody get a slice of pizza, get a soda, and call it a day. But no, I would not have, especially being women, I would not, no matter what, I wouldn't have just anybody coming to my house. Good question, though. That's a very good question. What's Aaron, babe, what's Aaron's last name? Chris's cousin.
Blake.
Yeah, Aaron Blake. He does travel. He don't have nobody coming to his house. His travel parties are at McDonald's. That's his business office. At McDonald's. He sits down at McDonald's and with people he don't know, he sits down and he talks to them at McDonald's. He might get him a soda.
We had a travel party at a Starbucks.
So yeah, so you can just camp out at McDonald's or camp out at Starbucks or Panera Bread or someplace like that. And we just did one. Where did we have that travel party with that guy, that one-on-one?
Starbucks.
That was Starbucks. That was Starbucks in Clinton.
Yeah, Starbucks
in Clinton, right? Because that was convenient. He lived in Clinton, and he was like, well, and it was somebody I met, and he was like, well, do you want to come to my house? No, indeed, no. And I said, not only am I not coming, I'm bringing my husband with me to Starbucks. We can meet at Starbucks right there at Clinton.
We met him at the Choose Family Day thing. So
That's right.
yeah,
That's right. But he did say, you do y'all want to come to my house? I was like,
yeah.
no.
He wasn't like he was connected, so I would have felt comfortable going to his house if we wanted to do that. But yeah, we chose to do it at the Starbucks. But Miss Rose, I say this to you. I talk to a lot of people and I talk to some strangers, but I build a rapport with them, and then based on what I know about them, and I have to say this, Ann and I only talk to a certain type of people. We don't really give out flyers. So we talk to other professionals. Like one guy that we're getting ready to invite over, uh, has his own construction company. He's a contractor during the day and a caterer. We've met, we've connected. I feel good about that. So I have no problems inviting him. But if somebody say they show up in my front door, I now don't get me wrong. We put up flyers that's not in our area. Like we got flyers up in the Lithicum area. So people have called us. But anybody calling me from the flying Lithicum ain't coming to Accokeek, Maryland. Okay? Because I don't know them. We talk on the phone and we'll do a Zoom. But this gentleman and several other people that we just met this past weekend, yeah, the type of people that we talk to, and we say that all the time. The type of people that you want on your team are the type of people that you talk to.
All
All
right.
these all these professionals that Vince has traveling with him, he got no problem inviting them to his house. So if you got a gut feeling or the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, nah, they don't come to your house.
Thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Well, that's a great, I think we've made that point.
Yeah,
That was a great question. That was a great question. And you don't go to nobody's house either, that it goes both ways. They don't come to your house. And at being women, you don't go to nobody's house. You want to meet them in a public place. And unless you really know them. And so definitely you want to watch that. But
that's
travel
right.
parties are the best ways, and you want to definitely be talking to people. For instance, the people that will go on your bus trip, if they are going to pay that money to go on your bus trip, then you know that 9 times out of 10 they're quality people. They're quality people. If they pay the deposits, they say they're going, then they're quality people. But just somebody that you meet, you just don't want to just, you want to act as a business owner, and you're not interviewing people to be on your team. This is an interviewing process. So you want to talk to them and see what they're thinking about, what they want, what are their goals, dreams, and desires. What do they even want to travel? Are they looking for to make some money, or do they want to work and make money, or do they want to just steal your money? So you gotta kind of have, you gotta interview them and ask some questions and just say, well, find out who they are and what they're about. And you know what, let me tell you, if somebody is 50, 60 years old and they can't put their hands on $500, that's not somebody that you want in your business. Because anybody that is seasoned should be able to put their hand on $500. And either they lying, or if they can't, if you know that they struggling and they struggling to make ends meet, this is not the business for them. I don't care how much you want to help them, but the mindset that you have to have is that, okay, I can do this and I want to travel the world, and I know it's going to cost me some money. I might be able to save some money, but it's going to cost me some money to go on Vincent's trip. Those people, you paying at least $2,000. to go on your bus trip, if I'm not mistaken, that's $500 or $700, right? I think it's $700.
$7.99.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
not a rooty poo trip. So at least people, they buying in, they're willing to pay a deposit. Those are the people that you should be inviting. If you talking to people who not even willing to invest in your trip, then those aren't people. That's not your market. That's not your market. So I just raise up and don't hit the low hanging fruit. Go to those doctors, those lawyers, those pastors, those people in the church that driving the Mercedes that look like they're about something and they're about something. Go to those nice neighborhoods and go to, and definitely talk to those people and stop. You can't help it. And I know you have a good heart and you want to help everybody, but you can't help everybody. You got to help yourself. You got to help yourself. So with that being said, we have actually killed that horse. So did anybody else have any issues, questions, comments, or concerns? All right.
Yes,
Again,
and
okay.
let me know next week can we do some travel training?
Yep.
All right.
Yep. Oh, this was the day for travel training. Sorry about that.
No
Yep.
worries. Yeah, this work. Oh, I got my head in the picture. Yeah, that'll work. That was it.
Okay. All right. Yep. Next call, we're doing travel training. But I want everybody to look at your calendar and schedule a travel party. Look at your calendar. And even Nick and I, we're gonna schedule one at Starbucks or somewhere. But I want everybody on this line this week to let me know when you're gonna have your grand opening within the next four weeks. We need to have some grand openings on the books. And Miss Thelma and Miss Rose, you already got yours on, but you need at least two more on the books so that you have others to invite people to. Okay. All right. Okay. Miss Reconice, I'm looking forward to your grand opening. Go ahead.
Question.
2 Saturdays also.
Miss Reconice has the floor.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I just do a Zoom party instead of like people coming to my house?
Well, I know that you just moved, and that might be difficult because you're in a new area, and it might be difficult to get people to come to your house.
Yeah.
We prefer people to come to your house. Why? Because it makes it a little more personable. However, because you just moved, that might be challenging. So you may be forced to do your grand openings via Zoom. But I would truly suggest that if you make a friend, invite them over and actually sit down with them and have them actually in your home at your kitchen table or at Starbucks or at McDonald's or wherever, but get in the habit of doing it face to face.
Okay.
Just because we found in the last couple of years that Zooms are not as effective. They are we spend a lot of time and energy doing Zooms, inviting people to Zooms, and frankly, we're not getting the results. We have Zooms almost every night, and we are not getting the results. Why? Because number one, we're not having that follow-up conversations, because sometimes when the Zoom is over, you can't even get back in touch with the person. They're not answering the phone, but when they're at your house, guess what? They got to ask, you can ask them questions. You can actually, kind of have conversations with them. You can talk about their situation. You can say, girl, you need to earn some extra income. You know that you just got your pink slip and you're going to be fired next week. So, that's when you can have that conversation. You can't have that conversation with your friend and family on the Zoom. Like you can say, oh, you just asked to borrow $100 from me last week. You can't have that conversation on a Zoom. That's when people start ducking. But when they sitting in your house, it's a little, they can't duck and hide. They have to kind of have that conversation.
Okay.
And so that's why I just don't want you to get in the habit. I just don't want you to do it and find and feel like you're not getting anywhere, you're not getting any results. When honestly, when people have said, "And how did y'all get to directors?" Like Vince said, it was travel parties. It was having people sitting in my living room, sitting across from me doing presentations. We have not had the success doing these Zooms. And yeah, we do great on the presentations, but it's just practicing the presentation. We don't have the same closure rate on a Zoom that we do on a live presentation, live travel parties.
Okay.
So I just want you to make your money back. I want you to see how this business works. And I'm telling you, you can have Zooms all day long, but you will not make the money that you can make if you just sit down. I don't care if it's one person, just sit down with one person. You will find that your closure rate and you'll have more success sitting down with one person than getting 10 people on a Zoom.
Okay.
Okay. But on the other hand, let's say that you're your sister and it's me, your sister, and you on a Zoom, a one-on-one, where the three of us are on a Zoom, and it's just her, where she can ask questions and we're having a conversation. That can be very, very effective as well. But when you have a whole bunch of people on the Zoom, you got stuff going on and stuff, people kind of hide and they kind of go off camera, they go to the bathroom, they listen, and so you kind of lose people. So if you have to do Zooms, I would suggest that you schedule one-on-ones with people and just say, I want to share with you, I want to share my business with you. And let's get them on Zoom, especially if they're not in your area. And we'll do the presentation, we'll ask those questions, and we'll have the conversation. Because what we can do, if they're on a Zoom and they walk away, what I've done before is say, "Oh, girl, well, it looks like you're busy. Do we need to reschedule this?" Or, "Oh, you look like you're not really paying attention. Are we disturbing you? Do you have something else you got to do?" Or so that way it's just them, so they can't hide. You see what I'm saying? So we've done that too, where it's just a one-on-one, and I'm like, well, I'm sorry, but it looks like you watching TV. Is this a bad time? Because I thought we were sharing this information with you, and they were like, "Oh, girl, well, I'm just not interested," and da 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 da. Well, don't waste my time then. I got better things to do than sit here and talk to the back of your head. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you can do that on a one-on-one. You can't do that on a row full of people. When I did a presentation with my brother, I told him, I said, "Look, just don't embarrass me in front of my director. If you don't want to do this, don't do it. But the last thing I want you to do is to embarrass me in front of my leadership." And so he sat there and he paid attention. And because he paid attention, he got started. He was like, "You know what? He wouldn't listen to me, but he would listen to her." And so he was like, "You know what? This does make sense," and got started. But it had to be a one-on-one. She had to speak with him, and I had to get them together so that he would listen. Okay. So it's great to have all these guests on a presentation, but honestly, with the Zoom, if you can do one-on-one, tell them they got to have their screen on, and we're going to have a conversation. And we talking to them just one-on-one, talking about it, what's going on with you and that kind of stuff. Then that's effective. Or if you go to Starbucks and sit down with them, that's effective as well. But if you just have a grand opening, that's great to have a whole bunch of people and just say, "Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna cheer you on," and that rah rah rah, let them know what you have. That's fine. But there haven't been a whole lot of grand opens, because think about it. If you got 10 guests on the line and nobody gets started, that person who wants to get started won't get started. because they'll think, how come I'm the only one getting started? So if you load up and have all these guests on your Zoom, you ask that person, your mama, hey, just get on because I just need somebody on. And then then the person who was very interested, they see all these 20 guests and nobody at the end gets started. Even if they're interested, they're not going to get started because they were like, how come I'm the only one? Why am I the only one to get started? Wait a minute, there must be something wrong. And so now they calling around. Why didn't you get started? Why didn't you get started? And they won't answer your phone call. So that can hurt you as well. Just think how people think.
Okay.
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 All right. So yeah, I'd much rather you have one person on the line. I don't care if we got to have 10 presentations a day for 10 different people. It will be worth the time than to have 10 people on a presentation and none of them get started. Or none of them able to get their questions answered, and you don't get any results. We're about having results. Here we go. We're gonna have some results.
Okay.
All right. Was there any great question though? Great question. So yeah, you can do Zooms, but let's do one-on-ones. Schedule one person to do their special Zoom, and we'll do Zoom. We'll do the presentation. We'll do a test drive, and we'll answer their questions, and we'll get them signed up.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Anybody else? This was great. Did y'all get value from this? Awesome. Well, Vincent Payton, next week we will be on the edge of our seats waiting for your travel training. I know you have some great stuff to share. I just can't wait. I can't wait to see all the stuff that you're going to share, Papa Smurf. So with that being said, we're going to end this call tonight. I think I've talked a hole in y'all's head, and that's it. Let's go ahead. Let's get some travel parties on the books, and let's definitely make it happen, or some one-on-ones. Invite one person over to your house, and let's do a travel party for them and get them closed out and grow your team one person at a time. So with that being said, y'all have a good night. God bless. And we look forward to seeing you. And I do mean you at the top, at the very top. It's going to be the tip top because the bottom is much too crowded. So go ahead and make your flyers. Let's have some travel parties and let's get things going. All right. Also remember the challenge. Michelle Thomas, I think you could be winning the challenge every single week, but you're not submitting your information.
I'm sorry. Yes.
You missing, you meeting people, you're doing 3-way calls, you did a travel party. You could be winning every single week, but you're just not submitting your information.
Yeah. I downloaded. I just didn't print the form out, but I could have at least given it to you. I know I was giving it to you piecemeal, but
I know you don't need my $5, so that's fine.
Okay, I can use that $5. I need that $5 for my travel party.
You don't need my money. That's fine. All y'all, none of y'all need my money. So
don't submit.
Don't submit your forms. It's okay. I'm just letting you know. I'm just letting you know that some of y'all could be winning. Miss Rose, you could have won 1 week. I think 1 week, and Jay could have won 1 week. I mean, we got people that's telling me, oh, I met this, but even Miss Iantha could have won 1 week. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I was like, well, that's great. Won't you write it down and submit it? And so you can win. But that's okay. I can keep my little $5. I can keep that.
No.
I'm just letting you know.
No. I need that for my travel party pool. That's my chips and donuts.
There you go, right? That's what I'm saying. It's not much, but at least it might help out. And
there you go.
It might help out, and then you never can tell. You get some bragging rights.
There you go.
Get some bragging rights. Be on top of the book. There you go. Here you go. So hey, submit the forms. Let me know what you're doing. those income producing activities. Recognize, you know, you just moved. $5 may not be much, but
No, it's
hey,
not doing that.
just submit the
I
form.
got all nine.
All right. I'll see y'all later. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Miss Alicia, you gonna sit the form? You can win. You can win. Come on now. Let's go. All right.
All
Y'all
right.
have a great evening and great night.
Absolutely.
And we look forward to seeing you at the top. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
All right. Looking
Good
forward to
night,
seeing
good
people at
night.
the
Good
Good
meeting
night,
night.
everyone.
tomorrow.
Yes,
Have a
that's
blessed
right. At the
one.
weekly meeting. Vince, you coming to the weekly meeting tomorrow? We looking forward to seeing you.
Alicia said she would be there.
All right, Alicia. We're looking forward to
Could I
seeing
put
you.
this stuff in the top?
All right.
All right,
Okie dokie.
all right. Y'all have a good one.
All
All
right.
right.
You
Yeah.
Good
too.
night.
Good night. Good night.
Good night.